the Bengals' win over the Panthers also showed a stark reality, something that the front office simply didn't want to be true. In this video, I'll explain how the Bengals are learning something a little bit too late. It's been a long time, Bengals fans, but you finally got a win to celebrate. This is Sheeran of A2C Sports Cincinnati, and let's talk about how the Bengals won against the Panthers on Sunday in Charlotte. The short answer? Their stars came to play. That's about it. Joe Burrow was Joe Burrow for pretty much the entire game, outside of a miscommunication with Jamar Chase that led to his first interception on his 134th pass of the season. But speaking of Chase, only 3 receptions for him, 85 yards and a touchdown. He became the fastest receiver in Bengals history to reach 4,000 yards, beating A.J. Green by a single game. T. Higgins also came to play throughout the first half, 6 receptions for 60 yards, consistently moving the chains. And on defense, Trey Hendrickson impacted an Andy Dalton pass that led to a Von Bell interception in his revenge game. Those 4 players that I just mentioned, though, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson, anything in common with them? They're only the best players on the team, right? But with 3 of them, they have not been given what they've desired from the Bengals specifically. In a game where the Bengals absolutely 100% had to win, their best players put the team on their backs and carried them to a victory. Now, they weren't the only ones who showed up, obviously. Chase Brown shined in moments. The run game did a good job of closing the game out. The offensive line continued to play well. Eric Gall continues to flash, both in the run and pass game. There are some young players on this team developing, but not enough to justify how the Bengals have essentially ignored the demands of 3 of their best players. Chase, Higgins, Hendrickson, all 3 were looking for paydays over the course of the last year, and none of them have gotten it. None of them have that long-term security that very clearly they deserve from this team. The Bengals have been slowly making this bet that this gradual roster turnover would happen with them drafting and developing players that would allow them to swallow the losses, the potential losses of guys like T. Higgins, like Trey Hendrickson in the future, where they can just pick up the pieces and continue being a contending team. But so far, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, there's very little development happening there. It's looking like one of the worst units in the league. And without Trey Hendrickson, who, again, got injured on Sunday with a stinger, it is just an absolutely abysmal unit. It's pretty abysmal with him carrying the pass rush as a whole. And it comes as no surprise that the receivers that Burrow trusts the most are Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and they both play their best when they're both on the field at the same time. We don't know if there's a long-term future of this offense having this kind of success when one of them is out of the picture. Had the Bengals been able to take care of the demands of their best players before this season, before this calamitous start even occurred, there would be more comfort in the fact that this core can remain and this style of play can be sustainable for years to come. But with Higgins on the franchise tag, with Trey Hendrickson entering the last 2 years of his deal, with Jamar Chase's extension still very much up in the air, you don't know how long this group of elite talent is going to remain together. And once a couple of those pieces eventually do leave, how good is the team going to be? How capable are they going to be in terms of beating the actual good teams in the NFL and not just the Carolina Panthers? Because right now, the very best players on the Bengals are at least showing up, and they're showing exactly why to the front office they made those demands in the first place. And until more development has been shown by the young players that the Bengals have tried to bring in to replace some of these future losses, the future will continue to be very murky.